On July 1969, the world watched in amazement as humans set foot on the moon for the first time. But what if this monumental event was not what it seemed? Could it be that humanity's greatest achievement was actually a carefully orchestrated hoax, a triumph of special effects and human ingenuity rather than an actual journey to the lunar surface? In recent decades, some have come forward to claim that the moon landings were faked. They say the images and videos are not of astronauts on the moon, but of actors in a studio, and some believe the whole thing was made up to win the space race against the Soviet Union. So could they be right? Was the moon landing really just a well-scripted performance? To get to the bottom of this, we asked an AI to investigate 3 of the most famous conspiracy theories about the moon landing. First, let's look at the shadow of the astronaut in the photo. It looks strange. Is it proof that this image is fake and the moon landings never happened? Or does it show something else? Next, let's look at the flag waving in the wind. With telescopic poles like this, it wouldn't be able to move like this. So could this be evidence that the moon landings were fake? Or is there another explanation? Finally, let's investigate the lack of stars in the sky. If these images were really taken on the moon, shouldn't the sky be filled with stars? Or does the answer lie elsewhere? We fed all these images and videos into an AI along with thousands more from the moon landings. We asked it to scan them all to see if it could find any clues as to whether the moon landings were real or fake, and what it found was incredible. The AI discovered that the strange shadows in the photographs are not anomalies, but rather a sign of the position of the sun. When the moon is hit by sunlight, one side is brightly lit while the other is cast in shadow. This is exactly what we see in the photos and videos. The AI concluded that the only way to create such shadows would be to position the astronauts where they were on the moon. In other words, the so-called fake shadows are actually one of the best pieces of evidence that the moon landings are real. But what about the waving flag? The AI found that the flag was not moving because of the wind, but because of a metal rod that was holding out the flag like that. This is a telescopic pole used to keep the flag open during the historic moment Neil Armstrong first planted the American flag on the moon. It was literally scrunched up to conserve space in the spacecraft for 4 days. So when it was unfurled, it looked like it was waving in the wind. As for the missing stars, the AI discovered that they were not missing at all. You see, cameras have a certain exposure time. That is how long it takes for the camera to capture the light and create an image. If the exposure time is too short, the image will be dark because not enough light will be captured. If it's too long, the image will be overexposed and washed out. The astronauts had to choose the right exposure time for each shot, which sometimes meant that stars were not visible in the images. But the absence of stars does not mean that the images were not taken on the moon. After all, we can't see stars during the day here on Earth either. So there you have it. The moon landings are not fake. Humans really did land on the moon in 1969. Of course, there are other pieces of evidence that prove that the moon landings are real. But the fact that these 3 famous conspiracy theories have been disproven by the AI is a great starting point. But why do people still doubt that the moon landings are real? Perhaps it's because the achievement felt too impossible to believe. When humans first set foot on the moon, it was a moment that seemed almost otherworldly. It was a giant leap for mankind that pushed the boundaries of what was possible. And perhaps this very wonder led some to believe that it couldn't possibly be true. If it wasn't fake, then surely it must be a hoax. For some, it was easier to believe that the moon landings were fake than to accept the reality that humans really could achieve such a monumental feat. But the truth is that the moon landings are real, and it's time we all accept that. Humanity reached beyond Earth almost 50 years ago. We landed on the moon, and we can do even greater things. The question is, what will be our next giant leap? What do you think? Is the moon landing fake or real? Let us know in the comments section below. Don't forget to subscribe for more amazing videos. See you next time.